Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm making a CAS celebration card. I'm using my favorite things We Belong as well as the Pretty Pink Posh Congrats script. I also took the basic rectangles from my elephant for my panel. Now first of all, I stamped out my images. I stamped this sentiment and some of these flowers for the background of this really simple card, just flat on top of the panel that I will be using for the card. And then I stamped the bear on another piece of paper because I wanted to die cut the bear to lift it on top of this panel. So a lot of whites today. If you don't like a lot of white, then you can always add a bit of ink on the background, or you can just make a scene and completely change up this card and make it your own by creating that scene. So many ways to recreate this card all the way you like it. So I started with the flowers here. These are all colored in the same way, same colors. Also here you can change it up and do a rainbow or another combination. I just really love this pink combination. It's not an in-your-face pink, but a really soft one, more towards the old pinkish vibes. And I'm doing this twice because this paper is Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper. A really good paper for Copic markers. But personally, at least 2 layers are needed for me to like the blending that I did. Now here you have the bear, exactly the same coloring for the flowers, except here the flowers are so tiny that I just used the darkest color of pink and didn't any shading. Then for the bear, I'm using one of my favorite brown combinations. You already know this, you saw this tons and tons of times. It's the E47, E57, E33 and E53. Yes, I love it. It works, so why change it up? Although if you want to, and as you can also see in other videos, there are a lot of ways to just change one marker in this combination and have a completely different end result, or 2 markers. You don't always need a lot of markers to make a lot of variations. So I'm doing the same as for the body here on the head, also doing a bit of flicking to help me with the blend. Not that this is necessary for this combination because it goes really well together, E57 and E47, but from time to time I just prefer doing some flicking, and blending with flicking will always work in my opinion. Okay, maybe not always, but well, yeah, I cannot speak for you, but if I have trouble with blending, then the flicking method really helps with the blending. And if needed, you miss a marker in between, you can always do a bit of tip to tip to fix that as well. I'm doing a second layer, as you know me. I also did it for the flowers. This will really help me with the shadowing, just adding more dimension, but also if the blend wasn't that great for the first layer, don't panic, just add a second one. And most of the time it's solved like that. So I'm working my way from darkest to lightest. There are different ways of Copic coloring. If you prefer another way, but you like the combination, then just do what you do with the combination of markers. As long as you like the end result, then that's what you're doing. That's perfectly fine. But for me, it just works better when I'm working from darkest to lightest. And now that I'm happy with coloring, I can use the matching dies to only cut out this bear. Now I'm adding the dies using some washi tape, and then I thought that it was just a bit too empty. I know that I'm working with a lot of whites. I was contemplating adding some distressings, just really softly adding some tumbled gloss or something like that, but I didn't want to do that. The intention was to have a really white card, but with enough details to get your interest. So I decided to add 2 more glossy parts. Just stamp them out, and then I'm just going to do exactly the same as I did previously, doing some flicking with one of these amazing green color combinations. Well, it's yellow-green, but you know what I mean. I love this. And then with some thin foam squares, I'm adding this bear just in front of my background created. Now, to finish this card, I die cut the congrats with the exclamation point from Pretty Pink Posh. I'm just going to add it with some liquid glue, and I'm using my reverse tweezers to help me get this sentiment in place. And once that's on there, I decided to add a few more embellishments. So you can use the negative for the dots, but I just decided to not do that and let myself be guided by the negative and add that dot myself. And then as embellishments to end this card, I am using the iridescent crystals from Studio Katia. I say it a lot of times, iridescent is the way to go if you're not quite sure about which sequence or you don't want to have a whole stash of sequence without them getting used. With iridescent, you are pretty certain you can use them. And there are several ways of, well, or forms or shapes of iridescent embellishments. You have these crystals, which I really love. You have bubbles, you have hearts, you have stars, snowflakes, anything you can imagine. There is probably a brand that has the iridescent version of it. So I'm just making sure I like where I'm going to place them. And once I'm happy, I'm adding them using some liquid glue. And my embellishment wand, this one is from Studio Katia. I love it. I have it already a while and I cannot add embellishments without it. So if you're looking for a way, an embellishment wand can help. I'm just going to add this panel on top of a card base and then I'm going to call this card finished. So this is my card for today. Really simple, a lot of white space, but it's an option. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and of course that you like the end result. You can always give this one a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope that you have an amazing day and I will be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!